Meeting is now streaming live on custom live streaming
आपके पास आ रही है वो
service.
all right
Okay. I can even see it on my PC. Just for the case of.
yes all right so
Yes, we are here.
here we go. Hello everyone, we are here with the first episode of our live shows.
So meanwhile, I can monitor the whole thing, the sound and the video in front of me as well. तो एक अच्छी बात है, PC के ऊपर at the same time मैं देख भी पा रहा हूँ.
All right, so we are live, Shahzada. Okay, let us start.
Sir, have you published it on Facebook?
So our topic today is for next loops. This would be with respect to O and AS both.
Okay.
So let us start with the introduction of for next loops. First the background, and then we will go further with it. Until then, Shahzada, you talk about it. Let me get connected.
Okay. For next loop, it's basically it's also known as count control loop, and we use for next loop when we know how many times that we need to input, where number of inputs are known. So that's is the main purpose for the for next loop. Further, we will going to have an introduction with Sir Zafar Ali Khan regarding the for next loop. Later, after having a discussion, we went for the technical discussion, and then we will go for the past papers through which you will going to have a better idea about the for next loops. So,
All right,
Sir Zafar, आप start करें.
जी.
We are waiting for Sir Zafar to share the screen. Share his iPad screen. So Yusuf, if you can give us some idea about the for next loop, the count control loop, आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर आप for next loop define करना चाहें?
जी सर, for to next loop basically सर एक counting based loop है, यानी कि when we know the condition, जब हमें condition पहले से पता हो, when we know predefined condition that how many iterations we have to perform, like 40 students के number input लेने हैं, 30 numbers जो है वो input करने हैं, तो जब हम पहले से condition जिसे पता होती है उस टाइम पे हम लोग जो है वो for loop को use कर रहे होते हैं mostly, और इसी वजह से हम इसे counting based loop भी बोलते हैं. तो
Okay.
All right.
अच्छा,
So
सर
let us start. So as you say that we have got several types of loops. Loops itself is a construct. So we have got many types of constructs, out of which one is loops, iterations. And we sometimes call them repetition.
Mhm.
or famously we call them loops.
Okay.
Now, these iterations are of two types. First is count based, and others are condition based.
Okay.
So our focus today is count based loops. Count based loops are achieved using for and next loop structures, and there are two count based uh, type loops. First one is simple count based, and other one is nested. So we will talk about nested later. So let's talk about count based loops, which are simple count based loops. And remember that count based loops are always done with uh, for next.
For next.
G for next. We will talk about other constructs, other types of loops and all, but later. Today our focus is mainly simple and nested count based loops. All right. So so what actually happens? Let's talk about the background. What exactly happens that sometimes we want to repeat few things to appear on a screen. For example, we may like to have counting on a screen: 1, 2, 3,
सर
4,
सॉरी टू
5.
इंटरप्ट यू,
Yes. जी.
हमने इसको फेसबुक पे शेयर किया है लिंक को,
नहीं, ये सिर्फ उस पे जा रहा है,
यूट्यूब पे जा रहा है।
यूट्यूब पे लाइव जा रहा है, लेकिन हाँ हाँ मैंने शेयर किया हुआ है वो इनकी यूसुफ की वॉल पे भी होगा। आपकी वॉल पे देखें अपियर हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा।
हाँ इसको मैं अपने तौर पे अभी शेयर कर रहा हूँ राइट नाउ।
जी, alright. So sometime we like our counting to go on for several times. This is count based loop. Why it is count based loop? Why? For the reason that we know how many time it will work. If we don't know how many times it will work and it will end out of some condition that will occur sometime in future, that is not count based loop. So the distinction of count based loops is that we know upfront that how many time it will go further. So one of the example is simple counting. The other example, I might be uh, very much obsessive with my name and I would like my name to be printed several times on a screen. So I like Zafar, 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 Zafar to be printed 5 times. Zafar. Sometimes I might be uh, more intuitive about things, and I would like my table to be printed. Let's say table of 2.
Okay.
I might like it to be printed like 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8, and 2 fives are 10. This might be a table. Sometimes I might like uh, someone to input names and few things again and again and again, and ultimately I would like let's say I would like to have the average of 5 numbers. So I would have to have those 5 numbers input, average of 5 numbers. In that case, I be like input. So I take, let's say 5 number. Then I have another input. Then I have 10. Then I have another input. Then I may have 3. So system would say, so these are 3. The total is 18. So,
Okay.
so what would be the average, Shahzada? 6.
Divided by 3. Yes.
G. So that is another example of average, that we would like someone to
Okay.
input 3 numbers. 3 numbers in a loop and find the average. So you get the idea? So a count-based loop is a loop that help us to do things again and again, but upfront before the loop starts, we know that how many times this loop will work. For example, here we like to have a counting on the screen from 1 to 10. All right. For example, over here, I would like my name to be repeatedly printed on the screen 5 times. I might be
Okay.
more as a programmer, as a student, or as a teacher, I would like someone to print the table of a given input, let's say in this case, a table of 2 to appear on a screen 5 times. Or I might be solving a question that needs me to input 3 numbers in a loop and find the average. In all these 1, 2, 3, and 4 cases, you need to understand that we knew right from the beginning that how many times the computer will work for whatever the task that is given. All
Okay.
right. So there are several ways doing it, but we will be actually having the idea of for next. So, sir, would you like to present it yourself, Sir Yusuf, Sir Shahzada?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Yes, sir. I'm
would
here.
you like to present?
Sir.
I think they are offline. So let's continue with it. All right, you are online. So, sir, I explained the purpose of for next loop, but without any uh, technical background or the formation of it. So, would you like to present something with respect to
सर
the?
मैं चाहूँगा कि एक दफ़ा जो है वो फॉरेक्स का एक जर्नल जो स्ट्रक्चर है वो उसके साथ कर लो कि
जी जी जी
how
बिल्कुल
does it
बिल्कुल
looks like
श्योर
the
श्योर
forex loop.
जी जी
The general
यस
structure of
यस
the forex loop. So either if we go with the Visual Basic, Python, or even if you go with the pseudocode, especially in terms of O levels. So it goes something like this. For example, if we have to input um, names of 25 candidates, 25, let's say, students. Yes, there we go.
Sir Shahzada, you can type on screen as well.
I guess I'm still a little bit struggling with this whiteboard.
All
Input
right.
names of 25 students. Let's suppose if we need to input names of 25 students, the for loop, something it looks like this. For the counter variable, that can be anything. You can write it down as count, counter, C, anything. The assignment operator, the starting and the ending part. So 1 to 25 and next. So if we need to input names of 25 students, and if we go with the basic pseudocode, it looks something like this. Input the prompt, enter name, and the variable. So this is how it goes. For count 1, this instruction will execute. Next, we go up again. For second counter, it will go to input, it will run this instruction again and again up until we reach up to this level, that is 25. So this is the basic structure of for next loop, how you can just work with it. And I guess rest I pass to Sir Yusuf or Sir Zafar Ali Khan to proceed with it. एक से इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया, छोटा सा for next loop का एक basic structure.
ठीक है।
लेके चलता मैं स्क्रीन को वापस आपके
ठीक है सर। So sir, I just want to discuss some basic point about as Sir Shahzada discussed technical point of view. We have let's discuss some basic points of for loop.
Okay.
So when we are using for loop, so first of all, we should know about there are 3 keywords like for, to, and the next variable. And when we have this structure, when we have a question, if we have to take input multiple numbers, as Sir Shahzada has given an example, कि अगर हमें multiple inputs लेनी हो 40, 50, 1000 like, तो उस टाइम पर हम लोग जो है वो for to next को use कर रहे होते हैं. This is the main concept to use count based loop. So अगर हम count based loop को use करते हैं तो उसके लिए हमें कुछ चीजें याद रखनी है. Some points we must have to remember. We have to know about starting of the point, if we have to take input 45 numbers or 45 marks of number of students are 45 and we have to collect the data of 45 students. So we should know that we have starting variable and we have ending, or you can say stop variable. So if we have 45 inputs, so start variable should be initialized with 1 and stop variable should be initialized with 45. Like if I write this program, so I can write as value or count, you can write anything, any name of the variable, and then you can write 1, and then you can assign 45. So this is the start of the value and this is end of the loop. So whenever we are talking about for to next loop, जब भी हम for to next बात करेंगे तो हमें जो है counting किस करनी है. As Sir Zafar has example, अगर हम counting की बात करें तो हमारे पास 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, and then we have ending value. So this is this loop, that's how this loop works. And after that, we should also know the point about for to next loop is we don't need to use any counter. There is a concept of counter that we will discuss ahead. So the point that we have to remember in the for loop, we don't need to use counter in the for to next loop. We don't need to increment any value. We have only 3 keywords. So hopefully I have cleared this concept. Now you people can discuss it further.
Yes. So let me take over from this point.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, as I discussed that, hold on, let me share the screen. All right. You can see this screen, sir?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. It's
Yes.
there.
Okay. So loops are constructs, and there are several types of loops. So the one that we are discussing today is count based. Count based is achieved using for next loops, and there are two, simple and nested. Then I said that we already know before the loop starts that how many times this loop will work. And I presented these 1, 2, 3, and 4 ideas. Before we go any further, we need to pay attention to two most common terms which are important. Number one is counting. As Sir Yusuf just mentioned the word counting, so I thought that it's a good idea that we discuss it, that what is counting. And then the other word is totaling. So I need you to understand that these are two different terms that we need to understand before we go any further. The thing is, counting is actually any act which actually makes you understand that something is increasing by one, means the number, whatever the number that
Mm-hmm.
is increasing, is actually increasing by one. This is always by one. This is always by one. And uh, second thing is, you need to know that whenever a variable, let's say if a is equal to 0, and if we want to count in a, we have to make it a is equal to a plus 1. This plus 1 actually is showing that it is a counting statement.
Okay, sir.
All right. So hold on for a sec. Now, this whole statement is counting statement. So how do we recognize that if it is a counting statement? By having this plus 1 thing. Now, if I write a is equal to b plus 1, it is not counting. For counting, we have to have both of the variables on the left side and the right side the same. All right. So it is not counting. It is not counting because these two variables are different. It is simply a sum operation, but it is not counting. Now, what does it mean? A is equal to A plus 1. So as I said that this plus 1 tells that it is counting. What is rest? Rest is actually, before we go any further, we need to understand that what is this equal to sign? Equal to sign is assignment.
Yep.
And computer science says that right side is assign to the left. So what happens that this is actually the right side and this is actually the left side. So until or unless right side is resolved, if right side is a literal, what is a literal? If I write x is equal to 7, so 7 is a literal. Means you don't have to do anything. It's a constant. All you have to take 7 and assign it to x. But if the right side is equation, like x is equal to a plus b plus c, or and divided by 5, then in that case computer will try to resolve this equation first. So the right side is resolved first and then the result will be assigned to x. So you need to understand that until or unless right side is completely resolved, we cannot use or update the left side. So right side should be resolved first in order to find a final value which then will be assigned to the left. This is one thing that you need to understand. This is now final. Now, the statement, let's get back to the counting statement. It says A is equal to A plus 1. Now you need to understand that in computer's memory, A as an integer or a whole number is taking some space. So let's say this is RAM. So A is taking space from, let's say, this location to this location to this location. Let's say, and this location. Let's say one location is of 1 byte. So A is taking 4 bytes in computer's memory. So when we save, let's say, if I write A is equal to 5, since these 4 bytes in the computer's memory are holding up, these 4 bytes are holding up space for A, so A will be saved in these 5 locations. I mean, 5 will be saved in these 5 locations. When we write A is equal to A plus 1, system, it means that whatever the value of A, add 1 to it and place it back to the same location which is represented by A. Again, A is being used on the left of the equal to sign and the right of the equal to sign. On the right of the equal to sign, A is a part of the equation. So as I said, that right side will be resolved first, so that whatever the answer that we find will be assigned back to the left side. So on the right side and the left side, the same variable is being used. It means the same memory location is being utilized. So on the right side, when it reads it out, system reads it like, find whatever is at the location represented by A. In this case, it is 5. Take 5 and add 1 to it, and then it will become 6. So remove 5 from this memory location here and put 6 there. So system will put 6. And this means that this 6 now will be assigned to this A. They both are same. But the thing is that over here, the old value is being used. And over here, we are representing what? New value. So since it is being utilized, it is being read, it is being solved, it is being seen first on the right side. It is first solved, the answer is deduced, and then when it is assigned to left side, it means whatever the value that was here is now updated by 1. This is an important concept that you need to understand, which says the right side will be resolved first and will be assigned to the left side. Number 2, I said that for counting, it is actually necessary that the variable on the left and the right should be same. If it is not same, it means that the data is being taken from this variable's memory location, added 1 to it, and being assigned to A. That means that A's value is not being increased by 1. It is increased by another variable's value by 1. So it is not counting, it is not increasing. If you need to increase this A by 1, you have to take A on the right side. So mind it, there were questions in the past papers which actually tries you by showing such statements and asking if it is a counting statement or not. So let's just summarize it. Counting is when on the left and the right side we have got the same variables and plus 1 is being shown. Remember, not plus 2, not minus 1, no nothing. For your syllabus, it is just plus 1. Now let's.
I guess just.
Ji. Yes, Yusuf.
ठीक है सर, जबरदस्त, माशाल्लाह आपने बहुत बेहतरीन एक्सप्लेन कर दिया
जी.
Especially the way you have just explained
counting
the same particular memory location के ऊपर
totaling, let's you or
I think everything about counting and totaling has already been defined pretty efficiently by Zafar Ali Khan. मैं बस एक दो चीजें ही बीच में
टोटलिंग सर पहले टोटलिंग हम खत्म कर लें, टोटलिंग पहले हम कर लें, फिर हम वापस आ जाएंगे जी. आप कर लें टोटलिंग प्लीज.
अच्छा, टोटलिंग इज लाइक क्वाइट सिमिलर काउंटिंग, लेकिन काउंटिंग में क्या होता है कि हमेशा +1 हो रहा होता है और जो टोटलिंग है उसमें जो प्रीवियस टोटल वैल्यू होगी वो एड अप होती चली जाती है. लेट्स हैव अ लुक. जिस तरह से सर बता रहे थे कि काउंटिंग, लेट्स सपोज वी हैव अ वेरिएबल a assigned to a +1 or it could be any variable. तो हम यहाँ पे नोट कर सकते हैं, we can see that at the both side variables are same, they're absolutely the same. So for example, if it's something like, so this will not be considered as totaling because name of the variables are changed. So that's the one thing. Okay, now let's talk about totaling. टोटलिंग में क्या होगा कि उसी तरह से लेट्स सपोज अगर हमारे पास एक वेरिएबल है, उसको हम टोटल का नाम दे देते हैं. टोटल इज इक्वल टू और असाइन टू टोटल प्लस. अच्छा, यहाँ पे भी वेरिएबल का नाम सेम है और यहाँ पर भी सेम है एब्सोल्युटली, बट प्लस के बाद यहाँ पे कोई सा भी एक दूसरा वेरिएबल इंक्लूड हो सकता है. लेट्स सपोज इफ इट कुड बी लाइक एज, इफ इट कुड बी लाइक numbers, if it could be like price, anything. So the only difference that in between totaling and counting is that अगर इसी को मैं यूं लिख दूं, total assigned to total +1, तो अब ये totaling नहीं कहलाएगा, counting कहलाएगा. ठीक है, तो टोटलिंग के लिए क्या है, यहाँ पर भी वेरिएबल बिल्कुल सेम हो गया, ये वाला वेरिएबल बिल्कुल सेम हो गया और यहाँ पे कोई दूसरा वेरिएबल इंट्रोड्यूस हो जाएगा. तो इस वेरिएबल की जो वैल्यू है वो इस टोटल के अंदर जमा होती चली जाएगी. आइदर वी आर रनिंग ए count control for next पहली iteration या instead of either if you're running any conditional iteration. All right. So let's take an example. What if we have this instruction stuck in between a for next loop for count assigned to 1, 2, 5, and we are inputting age of 5 pupils or students. Next, that's it. So how this totaling instruction will work? This one within this loop. हम इसको थोड़ा सा ट्रेस करके देखते हैं. Count and age and total. All right. For first count, पहली iteration के लिए, let's suppose हमने जो age input की that was 15. तो इस एज वेरिएबल के अंदर करंट पहले काउंट के अंदर इसके अंदर 15 आके स्टोर हो जाएगा. टोटल के अंदर इनिशियली लेट्स इनिशियलाइज टोटल ऑन टॉप एज 0. तो जो टोटल की इनिशियल प्रीवियस वैल्यू होगी, टोटल के अंदर इस वक्त 0 मौजूद है, 0 मौजूद है. और एज के अंदर पहले काउंट में इस वक्त हम 15 इनपुट कर चुके हैं. There is 15 inside of it. तो ये 15 प्लस 0 कितना हो जाएगा? 15 हो जाएगा. और ये 15 अपडेट हो जाएगा हमारा टोटल 0 से 15. तो टोटल हमारा अपडेट होकर हो जाएगा 15. सेकेंड काउंट के लिए, सेकेंड आइटरेशन के लिए लेट्स सपोज हमने एज इनपुट की 20. काउंट 2 के लिए हम एज यहाँ पे 20 इनपुट कर चुके हैं. इस वक्त एज के अंदर 20 है. और राइट नाउ जो प्रीवियस वैल्यू स्टोर्ड है टोटल के अंदर, दैट इज नॉट 0, दैट इज 15. वी कैन सी दैट द प्रीवियस वैल्यू ऑफ टोटल इज 15. 15 प्लस 20, this will become 35. So I guess you guys have an idea कि जब ये next 5 दफा चलेगा तो जितनी 5 स्टूडेंट्स की एज इनपुट की जाएगी एट द लास्ट इस लूप से एग्जिट होते वक्त उस टोटल के अंदर सारी की सारी एजेस जो है वो एड अप हो चुकी होंगी. इसको हम एक आइटरेशन और रन करके देख लेते हैं. So you can have a better idea. Let's say now we have inputted the age 25. Let's make it 10. For count 3. Count 3 के लिए हमने age 10 input की. We know that कि total की जो previous value है 35 है. The previous value of total. इसके अंदर जब हम 10 को add up करेंगे तो it will become 45. And so on. So this is how the tooling works. बिल्कुल जिस तरह से ज़फ़र ने एक्सप्लेन किया था कि टोटल वेरिएबल एक ही मेमोरी लोकेशन को होल्ड करता है, वहीं पे जो वैल्यू है उसकी वो अपडेट होती है. So that totaling is now I'll request कि इसको सर ज़फ़र या सर यूसुफ आगे लेके चले after totaling up to सर ज़फ़र आप ना इसको पॉलिश कर दें. सर यूसुफ अगर आप थोड़ा सा कमेंट करना चाहे टोटलिंग को फर्दर. आई गेस सर यूसुफ का जो इंटरनेट है वो थोड़ा अप एंड डाउन हो रहा है. अगर आप इसको कंटिन्यू कर लें.
चलें. नाउ लेट्स गेट टू द बिजनेस. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम कुछ क्वेश्चंस इसके देखना शुरू करते हैं. रिमेंबर हमारे पास जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं वो तकरीबन 3 किस्म के क्वेश्चंस फॉलो करते हैं फॉर नेक्स्ट के. दिस इज विद रिगार्ड्स टू O levels. let me share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So अगर हम for next में देखें तो कुछ certain types के questions हमारे पास past papers में आ रहे हैं. पहले हम उनको identify कर लेते हैं. For next based past paper questions. Types हैं ये. अब देखें दो ब्रॉडर टाइप्स तो हैं कि जहां पर हमें सिंपल फॉर्नेक्स इस्तेमाल करना होगा. सिंपल काउंट. अब सिंपल काउंट बेस्ड में पहली बार में जो हमारे पास क्वेश्चंस आएंगे वो हमसे रिक्वायर करेंगे कि हमें एवरेज मालूम करनी है. हमें पता है कि एवरेज इज बेस्ड ऑन टोटल and average is based on count both. All right, but they mainly will be asking for the average. Number two, questions will be asking for percentage. All right, in that case what happens that we need a count, an additional count, not the count. Over here the count is given in question, and we use it for the loop. Over here we need to count. During the loop for certain conditions occurrence. For example, I might be asked that to input 10 numbers. So this one, the given one loop that I need to count, or I need to work 10 times. Then I might be asked to count how many numbers were above 5 and how many numbers were less than or equal to 5. So it means that now I would have to check with if or selection statement the number that is given out of those 10 numbers. Every time I would have to check every single number that is being input if it is greater than 5 or less than or equal to 5. And I would have to count it in two different variables. Remember, percentages is always from a bigger count. Percentage is of a smaller count out of a bigger count. So the bigger count is given in the question. A smaller count, we have to do it ourselves. So you need to understand. Thirdly, we are required to find output with decision. Output with decision, what does it mean? It means that enter a number. If enter, let's say 10 numbers. If the number is less than 5, output less than 5, written less than 5. If the number is greater than 5, output number is greater than 5. And if it is number is equal to 5, then output equal to 5. Sir Shahzada? So these three types of questions will be asked in simple count-based loop, and rarely a question occurs that says first input a number and then loop as many times. Sir Sajada, you're listening?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, all right. So in simple count-based loops, we would have these four types of questions. First, we'll be asking for average. Average requires you to have total. So every time you input, you total. And then for a given number of times, that given number of times will be used to find the average. Secondly,
Okay.
they will be asking for percentages. In percentages, it would be given that as many times you have to input, but out of those inputs, you would have to evaluate and count in different variables at how many times certain conditions occur, and they will be saved in different variables. And then output with decision. In output with decision, you would have to output a string on a screen, a text on a screen based on the condition which is being driven out of the input. Let's say, as I said, that let's say someone asks you to input 10 numbers, and
Okay, sir.
on the screen put up that if the number is less than 5, then output the number is less than 5. If the number is greater than 5, then output number is greater than 5. Greater than 5. If the number is equal to 5, then output number is equal to 5. And this would go on for 10 times. It means that you would have 10 outputs on the screen based on every single input that you would have made. Fourthly, there are rare occasions, one or two, but they ask for uh, uh, to enter a number and loop as many times. Means they have not given the number by themselves. Rather, what they have done, they have asked you to input a number and then loop for that number of times. Now, this is one of the thing. Now, then we have second type, nested. Nested count-based loops. Over here, we have complications, complex types of questions. We will discuss them later. First, let's first find out what's in the questions for simple count-based loops. So,
Okay.
few of the functions that we are going to use. Let's first discuss the type of questions that will appear under these subcategories. In average, it is very simple. Input a number. Let me tell you. In average, it is very simple. It is a simple, straight thing. It would be a walkthrough, input, total, and then repeat input, total, input, total, input, total. If it is for one thing, then this would be a single total. It would be more than one. Let's say if they ask for the average of 10 numbers, it would be a single input in every loop and a single total. If they ask for the input of age and height of every students, and there are 30 students, then it would go on for 30 times, but every time it will ask you for the age and the height of every student, and then there will be two totals and two averages. Achha. In percentage, there are subcategories. The first one is it requires you to uh, find the percentages straight. Let's say first it says that count the scenarios. All right. And find percentage of it. Let's say input a number and tell us that how many times, what is the percentage of numbers less than 5 and what is the percentage of numbers greater than or equal to 5. This would be simple. But then we have got few functions which we are going to use. We need to have integer function here. On the basis of integer function, we will be finding, what do I say? Yes. Number one, there was a question if it is an integer or real number, means enter 10 numbers and count how many numbers were integer and how many numbers were real, means decimal numbers. Out of 10 numbers, let's say, what is the percentage of whole numbers which are integer, and what is the integer is whole number and real is actually the decimal number. So we will be using integer function for it. Then we have got log function. We will be using log function to find the number of digits in a number. What does that mean? Input a number and find how many digits are there. Let's say if I enter 1, 2, 3, it means that I want to show 3, which is 3 digits. If I enter 4,568, so 4,568 is 4 digits. So we will be using log function to find those number of digits in a number. So in percentage, there will be 3 types of questions, or maybe others. This comes to my mind at first, that would be simple thing. Count something and find the percentage of it, or just output the count or the percentage of it. Then we have got integer function. Integer function we use for number one. Yes, another scenario comes to my mind. So first was to find, we use integer function to find if the number that is entered is a whole number or decimal. Whole number or decimal number. If we are going to use integer function for it, yes. And then secondly, it is for digit extraction. Digit or digits extraction. What does it mean, extraction? Let's say if my number is 0, 3, 111, 222, 925, and I want to extract first 3 digits out of this number. So the number is 0, 3, 111. So if I want to extract, extraction means I would be having 0, 3, 1. So extraction is always from the left side. So they might ask you for extraction. So we will be using integer function for that extraction as well. All right. So this was a summary for next based, yani कि simple count based past paper questions types. There are 2 main types. Number one, it is simple count based. The other one is nested count based. So our first focus today is simple count based. So in simple count based, there are 4 subcategories. Average, just to have input, total them, and for the counted number of times, and then average, find the average and output it. And then we have got percentages. In percentages, we have got more questions. Let's say if we take this simple count base as 100% questions, this average would only be 10%. And this percentage would be 80%. And in other 10%, remaining 10%, we would have third and fourth type. So this percentage category is more important than any other category. In percentage, we have got simple count scenarios that if some condition occurs, we count it and then find the percentage of it, or we simply output the count. Secondly, the use of functions. So we are going to use integer and log, 2 different functions. In integer, we will solve questions which ask us to find if the number which is entered is whole number or decimal number, and count it, because basically it is count based. And I told you that percentage is always of a shorter count out of a bigger count. Let's say if there are 100 people and 30 has A grade, so what is the percentage of A graders? 30%. So that is this simple one. That is this simple one. Now, if they ask you to input numbers and find out if it is a whole number or decimal number, then we will be using integer number. And if they are asking you to input a number and find how many digits are there, we will be using log function. If they ask us to input a number and extract few numbers from the left side of it, the number of digits to be extracted will be given. We will be using again integer function. And thirdly, we have got the subtype, which needs us to output a string on a screen as per the decision made out of the input for a certain number of times.
Sir, we
Then we have
haven't
got
discussed about the div function, DIV.
Yes, we will
Do we
be
have the div
discussing
function?
it. Yes,
Okay.
we will be discussing it. That slipped out of my mind. We will be discussing it. And then we have got first input a number and then loop as many times, because it is for next based number, but it is not given in the question. Rather, they ask you to input it first and then loop as many times. Yes, Shazade, you said that div and mod functions. Div and
Yes, sir.
mod functions, yes, we will be discussing those as well. Div and mod functions. We have got div and mod functions. Div and mod. We will be discussing these functions. Let's say in check digit based questions, we will be making use of.
इसमें check digit है div mod function को.
Yes, we will be using. We would have a few questions that require us to find div and mod. Let me explain div and mod a bit here. Let's say we have got 937 bottles, and one box can accommodate as many as 7 bottles. 7 bottles. So they may ask you how many full boxes and how many bottles left over, means those bottles which could not fill the box. How many are these? So in that case, what we would do, we will divide 937 by 7. Why 937? This is the number of bottles that we have. And why 7? Why numerator is 7 and denominator is 937? So 937 divided by 7, that is 133 times. So 133 times, it becomes 931. It means that how many bottles are left? 6. Now this thing here,
6.
Yes, this thing here is actually number of full boxes, and this thing here is actually number of bottles left that could not fill the box. So this can be found by using div function. Div function tells us about integer quotient. Whereas this can be found with the help of mod function. Mod is remainder. We might have such type of question which require us to divide. So saying that we have got three types of divisions. Number one, intrinsic, basic division. इसमें हम लिखते हैं 16 divided by 3. What will be the answer? 16 divided by 3. 16 divided by 3 will be 5.33333. This is basic division. Second one is div. In this case, we will write 16 div 3. So answer would be 5. Thirdly, we would have mod. 16 div 3. Answer would be 1. So these are the three types of division. How do we know that which type of division is required over here? That will be coming out of the question. All right. So, sir, I believe session for today, let's end this session today. We will continue this session tomorrow.
Definitely, sir.
Past paper questions and
With
all.
past papers, inshallah.
Yes, past paper questions.
We don't have any.
We will be discussing these last scenarios again before starting past paper question, and then we will discuss past paper question as per these scenarios one by one.
Okay.
All right. So let's see if there are any questions.
So far, I guess, sir, questions probably raise होंगे जब हम past papers के questions को discuss करेंगे.
Let's see if there are any questions. Do we have any questions? Is it?
There are lots of phrases there.
Are there any questions? No questions yet. So let us find out if they have any questions. Do you have?
Okay, we just be really hopeful. Okay, next session, inshallah, we're going to have lots of questions when we will be solving the past paper questions. Inshallah. तक के लिए, sir, are we just?
Let me ask them. Let's
ending our class right.
Let's wait for 5 minutes, and then we will finish this feed. So the experience was good, sir. Today, experience was good.
Cool. So it's brilliant.
Yeah. So we will continue tomorrow. I think we have discussed enough for the background of for next loops. We discussed it well. So all the basic ideas that what is totaling and counting on the basis of which all the questions are.
Sir,
made.
there is a question regarding the class. Early class kab hogi? That will be on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, today is Monday, so Wednesday same time. Every Monday, Wednesday, and
again we have scheduled for O, AS, and A2 as well. So are we having O-level class on Wednesday?
Yes. This class would continue next session, and then we would have another topic for another class.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
So on Wednesday we will continue with the same session.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So great. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.
Allah Hafiz. Take care.
Allah Hafiz.